Hi, Tumee. Thank you for your essays. Now let's have a look at the next essay about shops and extended business hours. Okay, and yes, thank you for not making this bold. You're great. Just thank you. Experts throughout word order, both the developing and developed countries, have debated whether the prolonged open hours of the businesses are beneficial or harmful. I would say are harmful or beneficial. Somehow the balance sounds different. Personally, I believe that the modified and extended business hours, and I think we have business here and business here. You know that we shouldn't repeat ourselves. It's a great advancement. Okay, this essay will discuss both sides of the opinion, no, of the argument. You cannot, an opinion is like one side, but the whole thing, you can say it's of argument or of the debate. I know you have the word debate. Let me try and look up. I'm lazy. I'm going to look up dispute. Yes, I love the word dispute. Using examples and empirical studies from the Japanese government. Yeah. Okay. Why the Japanese government? I'm just wondering. On the one hand, there's ample evidence showing that the employees who work longer hours, no, you don't need the comma here, you need this who, you mean namely those employees who work longer hours. This is why you don't need the comma. If you're not sure why this happens, research and read about essential and non-essential relative clauses. Okay, read about this, and this is exactly about the relative pronouns used with or without commas, like which, who, and so on, because the same sentence with and without commas can actually change meanings. All right. Experience more stress and less work-life balance. Okay, nice. This is largely because the amount of work time is decided by the company owners, and their life does not get affected, is not affected. Let's agree on one thing: we do not use the word "get" ever, never, ever in essays, because essays have to be academic, and "get" is not academic. So, is not affected as much as the workers, as the workers. For example, according to the Japanese government, work exhaustion is the leading cause of suicide. You don't need the on Japanese employees in the last several decades. I wouldn't say is, I would say has been. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the late closing hours pose harm. I wouldn't say pose harm, I would say may pose harm to the workers' mental health and their well-being. Okay. Great paragraph, good argument. Okay. On the other hand, as the modern lifestyle, let's learn the fact that lifestyle is one single word. It's changing dramatically. So look, the modern lifestyle is changing. So is changing the business world, right? So is the business world. Okay, very nice use of an advanced grammatical structure. Just make sure that this is the verb, right? You take the verb from here. For example, if this had been changes, this verb in this structure would have been does, like lifestyle changes dramatically, so does the business world, right? Like in questions. The reason behind this is twofold. Great, you have learned the right punctuation. Awesome. Firstly, the traditional 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. work hours. Okay, I wouldn't say 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I would say 9 to 5 work hours, or 9 to 6, depends on the country, are shifting into irregular working schedules. Secondly, many women are stepping up into the labor force than the old ages. Do you mean then in the old ages? I would say then in the past. Old ages sound a bit like Middle Ages. Many women are stepping up is a phrasal verb. As I told you, we say no to phrasal verbs, and we find one word equivalents such as are becoming part, well, at least this is an expression, right? They're becoming part of, so not into, but of. the labor force. For instance, most people used to do their grocery shopping on their way to home before the store closes at 9 p.m., or it was the responsibility of the housewives, of their housewives. Oh, you say most people, right? Most people. So you assume that most people were men. So do you mean men? If you do, then you have to write men, because you say housewives, kinda. So the regular service hours have worked from used to had worked. No, just worked. Just worked. Thus, okay, wait a second. You know what? So, so you need to revisit this thing, and rephrase the same idea and put it here. So this is why uh, women wouldn't be able to do this nowadays, because most of them, like the absolute majority of them, work. So hence the extension of business hours. Thus, it is possible to say beyond doubt that the businesses are following the societal change, great vocabulary, and it is convenient for the societal change, which is convenient. Let's do this. Which is convenient for the working class people. Yes, from the given examples and information, you're being redundant. You can say examples and arguments, or are you trying to avoid arguments? Although, okay, from the given examples and arguments, what happens? You need, what is expected is kind of, I want to say that this. You can say, I certainly agree that although workers could be impacted negatively, the extended service hours for stores are pivotal in our ever-changing world. Ever-changing world sounds a bit poetic, but let it be. Let it be. This is a rather short conclusion. Remember that the conclusion has to conclude, excuse my repetition, on the main arguments in your body paragraphs, all right? That's like really important. Okay, now let's have a look at the rainfall line graphs. All right. Okay, the given graph, it's moreover, it's a line graph. It's describing about the amount, no, it's describing the amount of rainfall in a year of period, the amount of rainfall in a one year period in England, Scotland, and Wales in 2023, measured in milliliters. Okay, well, the fact that there's a little typo and should be millimeters, never mind that. You're trying to follow the information on the visual. In England, about 110 millimeters of rainfall continues approximately 6 months. 4. Okay, you're trying to show the dynamics. In January, and I would say, and namely, in January, April, July, September, November, and December. Okay, but that's not in a row. Controversially, no, not controversially, conversely. Conversely means right on the opposite. English people have less. Wait a second. I'm kind of lost. Controversially, English people have less than for the next. No, it should be conversely. Yes, it should be conversely. English people have less than this of rain in the following 6 months, which are February, this, and this. Okay, are you sure you need to list them? Because I think it kind of goes without saying. Because these are almost in order. The rainiest months are linking word. You need a linking word or expression here. Up to you to decide which one. The rainiest months are July, September, and October, which is over. No, it's not just which. The precipitation level for which is registered at approximately or at 120 milliliters sharp. However, May and June have less than. Okay, you can say have, or you can even say see. That's very typical. As for Scotland, As for Scotland, the amount of rainfall fluctuates significantly from this in March to this in February. On a monthly basis, January, March, and October are the rainiest months compared to the February, April, and November. Wait a second, you cannot say on a monthly basis. What happens on a monthly basis? I hate to disappoint you, but you don't need this. You can say, let's say, further, January, March, and October are the rainiest months compared to, as compared to this, and that. Wales has less rainfalls, less or fewer. You can say less rainfall. Less is uncountable. Rainfall is uncountable or countable depending on how you put it. Compared to the above mentioned hyphenated. Above mentioned, no, it shouldn't be hyphenated. Above mentioned countries. This country, we have a repeat. You can say this region experiences the most of the rain in July and May, which is this and this respectively. Perfect. On the other hand, the rainfall amount is lower. You can also say quantity because I think we have seen amount a lot. Okay, 173 words. Do you know why? Because you have too many words here. This paragraph could be made much shorter on account of listing all of these months. And a concluding sentence would look really great here. Well, this is very good work for the for task 1, but you've seen what I mean in my remarks. You have a very nice approach to singling out the important data and making the relevant comparisons, but just make sure that you don't overdo it with the details. You don't really need that much detail always. That's why listing the months is not really necessary, not really. Anyway, great job, Tumee. Keep up the great work. Your error list is great. I'm going to email you another sample. You have probably seen already because you're listening, you're watching this video correction. So have a look at that one. That's another way of doing that. So that's it. All the best of luck and keep up the great work.